you know what? Let's just get right to it.
Oh, awesome. What up, Jason? Great to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out.
Howdy, howdy, y'all. Welcome back to Technopoverty. Once again, I'm Henry.
I'm Jacob.
And to just give you a rundown, if this is your first time, Technopoverty is a series where we play a video game and we talk about books in the associated genre. We started with Mega Man X and some sci-fi, talking Isaac Asimov. We're currently in the middle of MAXIMO, Ghost of Glory for the PS2. And as we play our way through it, we're talking about Lord Dunsany, we're talking about Philip K. Dick, we're talking about Gene Wolfe. We talked a lot about Tolkien last episode on Fairy Story. More of that's going to come into play this time.
And some ghost stories.
But in addition to intertext referencing and just having fun with the art, we like to talk with the chat and see what arises organically. You know, there's art and artifact. There's ways you share these things in meat space that are outside the context of, you know, their internal consistency.
Yeah.
So for instance, one thing that came up in chat was Freddy got fingered. That's something we just started riffing about at the end of last episode, but there are some things to what it's saying about conditioned states of quest finding and quest seeking that it tears into. And I'm thinking in about a month, April 20th is a Sunday, we might just run Freddy Got Fingered on the Discord. You know, maybe like an inaugural Techno Party Theater thing. If you're interested in getting access to the Discord, check us out on Patreon.
It's a fun time.
Another thing that organically came up last time was Ingmar Bergman's The Seventh Seal. That kind of came up in describing MAXIMO's plot. Both the protagonist of MAXIMO and The Seventh Seal are on the way back from the Crusades when things go horribly wrong, except, you know, MAXIMO's way more cartoony about it. Something else I'm going to bring up, because we were talking about Gene Wolfe and Philip K. Dick and conditioned states of belief, is the poet W.B. Yeats. I thought I pulled a volume out, but
Might be somewhere down here.
yeah, I guess it's not in the stack. Anyways, without further ado, let's get to MAXIMO.
Yeah, cheers to MAXIMO. Cheers to you for coming out. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. We've been growing at a rate we are very surprised by for how DIY our operation is. So thank you for tuning in, thank you for hanging out, and cheers.
How can I trust you?
Delicious. My God. Man. I love these pre-rendered animations that this game has.
Yeah, back when games, I mean, they still have to deal with storage space, although a lot of them just barf on your hard drive now.
Yeah, true. I forgot what I did.
I do like that because they're pre-rendered scenes, the dub doesn't match the lines. They do a lot more like line mouth matching in translation now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we last left off by beating the first world. We saved as a file named T. I was going for the whole Technopoverty thing, but didn't understand how to do the full name.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now things are making sense again. So again, Windows set up so that way I know what's going on.
I forgot the Yeats, but come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with fairy hand in hand, for the world is more full of sadness than you can understand. We are in the swamp world, in the waters and the wild.
And our lovely white heart boxers.
Yeah. And I was quoting Yeats's The Stolen Child, which is a poem about fairies kidnapping children, or children being enchanted away from quote-unquote the real world by fairies to the waters and the wild, because the world's just too sad. Too many damn bad things are happening out there, and the fairies are there to whisk you away.
Become a Peter Pan of sorts.
Of course, I'm collecting fairies here, so maybe I'm harvesting them as they've been out in the waters and the wild. What's up?
Oh, nothing. Barney's just going through these delicious pieces of broccoli very quickly.
Oh, we do have Barney with us, and she is a very real gremlin. Not a fairy, though.
You know, I'm sure she's a gremlin to somebody, or a fairy to somebody.
Oh, hey, look.
Oh, we got a second doggo, Tally. Tally, do you want to come up here? Here, come on, up, up. You gotta come over here. Up. Come on. Yeah, that's it. That's all there was.
Oh, we've brought her. Come away, O canine child.
There you go. Good girl. See, this is great. Broccoli, great invention of man. It's wonderful.
Getting power-ups, collecting fairies.
Why do they call it TechnoPoverty? It's because we're living, you know?
Yeah, TechnoPoverty is an ethos, I guess you could say.
In a world where we can get astronauts in space and use telecommunication systems and stream live from our living room, and yet everyone is in a massive amount of debt in various ways and paying $1,500 for like a truck payment.
People have 3 jobs and still feel unemployed.
It's true. You know? At least in our universe. I don't know what your guys' universe is like. I would assume it's fairly similar. Things change.
Yeah, I guess if we're to be talking of conditioned states and the way games get you believing in narratives, there's a sort of techno-poverty mindset we espouse. It is one where in a world full of technological abundance, but extreme economic despair, how do you navigate that, I guess, is the question we're exploring as we kind of chill, play art, talk about ideas that have sort of carried down over time or seem important or useful to their creators. Or maybe this is all just a sort of chill coping mechanism for the stressful times we live in.
Yeah, maybe a little column A, a little bit of column B.
You can also be techno-impoverished in the way, sure, fiscally you're well off, but you may not know how to navigate the technological
landscape in general.
But we do believe in just conversations and sharing of ideas in art in this kind of freewheeling way. Should I get the monogram boxers? They're 300 coins. That's a lot. No, I'm going to be financially responsible.
Financially conservative, but socially liberal.
But I think techno-poverty also does seek to kind of explore how like our weird, burrito lone landscape conditions us and how that's reflected in our media. And I think through like gaming history, you can kind of explore how we've arrived at this moment, because a lot of like the gig economy and the app economy and the contract economy feels very reflective of like gamer brain mindset nowadays. The appification of everything kind of wants to make these Pavlovian whistle kind of.
Yeah, conditioning.
Yeah,
like
this sort of conditioning under the current economic superstructure, I think, could be called techno-poverty in a way.
It's happened again. The censoring of the chat is really funny, but it censored boxers.
Why would it? Why would the chat
sure.
censor boxers?
Are the boxers micromodal?
I think this was before that time. Although I'm missing a big secret key. Is it over here? No. Oh.
I was like, well, what is that giant key then?
I thought it was like it needed a golden key. I didn't realize I was out of keys.
Oh, you just had nothing.
So in the same way like a game conditions you, I'd say techno-poverty may be something we use to describe a particular mindset we're speaking to, deconstructing, examining, living under the conditions of.
Yeah. It's just
we're carrying on through Maximo. We're going to carry on through the end, but sometimes we're going to play cousin games or we're going to play nostalgia games, and we're going to be like, what was this? Was it worth examining in that way?
yeah, because as people who like create art, like if you're a creator of any kind, it's like finishing a project from start to finish is already hard on your own, and then timesing that by however many people work on a project and whatever limitations you have, there's just a lot of love and care that go into these things. But some things are just like objectively not good, but also but still had just as much heart and input going into it. So it's really fun to kind of discuss.
Yeah, you brought up that claymation game I keep forgetting the name of the other
Skull
time.
Monkeys.
Skull
Yes.
Monkeys, yes.
Super cousin game. I don't know anyone else who had it, but I had it in rural New Hampshire, and
Yeah, I want to explore that more as we go, is just how much something... Ooh, I found the water and died. Damn.
you're doing really good too.
But how much something you play at 13 just leaves an impression on you in a way where it can be your whole world in a hyper-solipsistic way. I think part of TechnoPoverty mindset is that folks have had enough time now to get lost in these kind of digital landscapes that it makes discerning the actual landscape of reality tough. It's kind of why we see a multiplicity of narrative all over the place now when it comes to politics and such.
For a second, it looks like it turned into a toilet with a foot. Which is a bold choice. Ooh, nice.
Continuing on about the whole TechnoPoverty mindset thing, I think MAXIMO is as a work of electronic fantasy. It's a digitization of just like that male power fantasy platformer fun. It's at an interesting intersection because it's very self-aware and kind of hammy with what it's doing. But because it's synthesizing so many elements old and new of fantasy into kind of a goofy thing, it's a good jumping off point for so much, as last episode showed us and this episode's proving too.
Yeah. Now, what did you first play this game? Like, was this an early game, or is this something you picked up later on?
I remember having like an electronic gaming monthly that had like a strategy guide rundown on it, and it seems pretty cool.
Oh, interesting.
And then also just the art direction, like the fantasy sword fighting stuff. I was like, yes.
Everything about this. This is my first experience with all of this, but it's been really fun. And now that you're saying that, I can totally picture like the magazine clips, like images right now.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, Game Informer magazine may be coming back. Super exciting. Cryptic.
Well,
I'm not gonna be saying that. I'm not. Chat's not saying that. I'm letting chat know, and you know.
Okay.
They recently updated their Twitter. They've had some activity.
Is it going to be like actually like something good, or is it like a private equity reinvestment thing?
I mean,
Is it
it's probably
new
most
ownership?
definitely like some private equity thrown into it. But we'll see. I was going to say like it wasn't so bad for, and then I remembered Alamo Drafthouse just laid off like a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sony Pictures.
Solidarity with their striking workers.
In our universe. And your universe.
Can I jump on that wheel is my concern.
That's a good question. I'm not sure for people too.
Yeah, I can. Sometimes with old video games, you're very suspect of like, you might just fall through that floor.
Yeah. Like it's there, but it's only a visual.
Like they're telegraphing you so hard which platforms to land on that you think some of the other stuff is just like, okay, that's not a real object.
Yeah. That's how they get you. It's conditioning, man. Those little feats. Love it. The camera angles in this game tease you a bit too. Like, can you make the jump? Maybe. Absolutely. It's a fun give and take.
Just it's a leap of faith, you know.
Every time.
There's some health. So that's the bad water because it's brown. The good water is green. We talked in Tolkien's On Fairy Stories about how fantasy's like more of a haptic sell. You gotta be like more descriptive and kind of like you gotta feel it within the prose of like describing a fantasy story in a way, a non-fantasy story. You know, you can just kind of describe what's going on. It's like, oh, this is close enough to reality that it makes sense. And just the way video games make you feel the strangest things, like, oh, the green water's good, the brown water's bad.
Yeah.
Don't put the light on that the tornadoes get stronger with like the darkness meter, so time your light punches correctly. Just the wildest sentences they can get you saying.
Yeah, true. Man, Alan Wake was really fun with all the spooky dark stuff in the flashlight.
Oh yeah, there was like a flashlight mechanic for that, right?
Yeah, I loved that one. That was such a fun one. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've been underutilizing the shield. That was something I was noting as we made clips of last run.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. You have like a post game, just like editing and going through. Like, okay, this is where we're at. This is what I need to riff on. We got to get like a John Madden board so that we can draw over it as things are happening.
We can.
There's got to be a way we can do that. We'll use our techno-poverty mindset and solve this issue. This non-issue that has suddenly become everything in my mind.
There's treasure down there, and there's a skeleton over there. Which direction? 2 paths I came upon, and I wanted the treasure.
I wanted that money, that cheddar.
All right, I need to. The problem is the shield is on R2, and Souls games have conditioned just the complete opposite of that out of me.
Yeah. That's like the worst getting into that mindset. Just the use case of being stuck in that mindset of that game. Like, no, this will transfer.
Oh, this is the jump button in that other game I just dropped 80 hours into.
Oh my god, my ADD. I do that with so many games. I play way too many games and I just cycle through them depending on what I'm feeling.
You just forget what controls like what.
Yeah, at any point. Man, playing Red Dead and then Red Dead 2. I mean, very similar, but also very different in forgetting. George McDonald's fan taste was like that. Some parts got downright trippy.
Cool. What is that?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. What is George McDonald's fan tastes? And when you said that, I'm thinking Michael McDonald, the singer that like my mom used to listen to. So like I know that that's absolutely not it, but I am intrigued as to what Michael McDonald's fan taste would be like.
Oh no, I appear to have dropped the controller.
It's all right.
I was enamored by the Michael McDonald story.
I appreciate it. Michael McDonald is a national treasure, honestly.
Yeah, man, a lot of people's moms like him.
Yeah, man. That voice, too, just like everywhere.
Oh my god.
It's all right. What are you barking at? Fan tastes. A Fairy Romance for Men and Women is a fantasy novel by Scottish writer George MacDonald, published in London in 1958.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
Or
going on the
1858,
Techno-Poverty
sorry.
syllabus.
Yeah, let me throw that in our Discord.
Throw that in the Discord for further research.
Yeah, in case anyone wants to join the Discord, we do things. There's things happening over there.
For those who weren't here at the start, we're considering just having a Freddy Got Fingered screening on April 20th, Sunday. We'll keep you posted about it.
Yeah, it'll be real fun. It could be a really good time.
But there's, so I'm bringing up this concept of just, protagonist being conditioned to be the sword-wielding, just fantasy badass man. And I think Freddy Got Fingered would be a nice cap on all of that because it's actively lampooning the sort of Hollywood masculine quest.
Man, it really does a good job too. Because we rewatched it a couple years ago.
It holds up, yes.
Yeah, it holds up surprisingly well, especially with movies like around that same time. Like as far as like things, even the comedy was still like really comical. Like, I can't think of anything like any poor taste jokes that were really just like, well, that's really something you shouldn't do.
The girlfriend character is great.
Yeah.
She's a huge part of why it's so good at tearing into the sort of masculine quest stuff.